Okay. Oh, I got that in the mail.
Yeah, yeah, I invite Carol.
Your autograph, sir?
I'll say yellow. Yeah, like 100 and better than. Even with the white inside.
February.
Remember the original plan for this?
The original plan was actually Bill Quinlan. Oh, there were 50 plans. Everybody pushed their plans.
Right.
No, I'm thinking mine.
This is where we are today. They're gonna preserve 50 stalls on the Mackay side of the existing line.
So funny.
So that's essentially it. And then there's an on and off.
Remember the original plan? Road was gonna come down. That's gonna be here. So they didn't have to cross the area to get to the beach.
They don't.
How are you?
They don't.
Good.
If the parking is on the Mackay side of the road, the highway is on the Mountain side of the road. They don't have to ride it down.
That's what that's it.
I don't know, it's just not for me to see.
Aloha, everybody. Please take your seat. Board members, please come to the front if you haven't already. I am calling the meeting to order. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight after our August recess. Okay, first thing up, do we have any declaration of conflicts on anything on the board? Anybody? Not seeing or hearing anything. Okie dokie. And we have some vacancies. So first up, we have a vacancy in Waialua. Do we have anyone that is interested in taking the Waialua Subdistrict 2 seat? Anybody? Okay, well, we'll just keep that on the agenda. Evelyn, you sure you don't want to do it? I have to try. Okay, next up, we have Haleiwa Subdistrict number 3. Do we have anybody who is interested in running for Subdistrict number 3? Please come forward. Haleiwa.
Please vote for me. My name is Carol Phillips. I've served on this board for close to 20 years. And then I've been off it for about 4. I'm not even sure. Time goes by so fast. I love this community. I've lived in it most of my life. I work every day to try to make it a better place. And I hope that I can join you all on the board to continue those efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Aloha kako. It's a sign. Aloha kako, Maka Cassin Fisher. I would be honored to sit back on the board. I do have many hats of kuleana. We're also very busy people, concerned residents and community. So mahalo for coming tonight. I look forward to either working with you, alongside you, or making things interesting. Mahalo nui.
Thanks, Maka. Okay, we have Carolyn Mako. Could you just, Maka, you need to stay up here. Sorry, sweetie. Thank you. Okay, Carol Phillips, do we have a nomination for Carol Phillips? Bob? Okay, we do not need a second. Do we have a nomination for Maka Cassin Fisher? Denise? Okay, so when you're called your name, please indicate whether you're voting for Cassin Fisher or Phillips. We need 8 to seat somebody. Thank you very much.
There you go. Dave?
Phillips. Amy.
but I would vote Maka.
George Atkins. Cheryl Matsumoto.
Hassan Fisher.
Bill's not here. Leaves not here. Saz.
Maka.
Debbie. Denise.
Vote for Maka, but my heart is super torn. Mahalo.
Charlene. Bob.
I vote for Carol here and Maka for the Wailua. Throw both on the board.
Yeah.
We go with Carol. And our roll.
Blake. Kathleen. Nobody.
Nobody got a majority, which is 8 votes. So we'll go back later and we'll come back to this. We'll circle back around in a little bit. We'll move forward. Just so that everyone knows, Phillips for Cass and Fisher 5, just so you know. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Honolulu Fire Department. Do we have Honolulu Fire Department here tonight? There they are. Thank you, gentlemen. Nobody? Okay. Oh, you're saying no, Vice. Okay, Lieutenant. Okay, Lieutenant Vice, come on in, sir.
Good evening, Lieutenant Romel Baisa from the Honolulu Police Department, Wahiawa Police Station. I have Sergeant Michael Young with me. He is normally the Sector 3, the sergeant for this area, which is from around Pa'alauka all the way to the convalescent home in almost Kahuku. Anyway, reporting statistics for the previous month, the previous 30 days for the area that you guys are in. We had 1 assault case. That's the aggravated assault cases usually involve weapons. 2 burglary cases, usually break-ins to homes. Sometimes that involves theft from within the house, or sometimes just a crime against another person. We had 9 motor vehicle collisions that were, we consider a little bit major. Yeah, where vehicles are towed and stuff, not just your fender bender. We had 0 robberies. That's a good thing always, because robbery is when somebody uses a weapon, some kind of weapon or a threat of a weapon, or even force to take something from somebody else. Unauthorized entry into motor vehicle, usually your car break-ins. We had 9 for the month, for the previous months. 913 calls for service for your area. And then for citations, we wrote about, this is for the entire district, which consists of Mililani, Wahiawa, and the North Shore. There's really not an easy way to separate it by you guys' area, but we had 484 parking citations, 943 traffic infractions, 175 traffic crimes, 9 criminal citations, and then arrest. We normally don't report, but we had about 90 people arrested for the month and about 145 charges. The safety tip for the month would be for traffic awareness and use of mobile electronic devices while driving or while crossing the road. So please know that it is illegal to be driving. You guys know all this already. It's been a campaign for years to use mobile electronic devices while driving and even while crossing the road. Okay. Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Board members, questions, Bob?
So you mentioned vehicle accidents. I was driving up to Wahiawa and saw a motorcycle look like a pretzel, and you guys blocked the whole road off for a while. Does that count as a motor vehicle incident, or do you guys have a special category for motorcycles or electric bikes and that kind of thing?
No, it's pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, so any motorized vehicle. So the electric bikes also count as motorized vehicles, especially the ones without pedals. They're technically just like a Tesla is an electric vehicle. Any e-bike without pedals is electric motorcycle essentially. So that's how we.
Thank you, sir. Any other board questions? Yes, Denise.
Hi, aloha. Thank you for sharing. I wondered about if you could report about seems to be a rise in theft of keys from visitors who leave their belongings on the beach and then cars are stolen. I heard from our wonderful officer Lisa, and I want to put in a big plug for Officer Lisa. We love her. But I've heard from others that there's been a real rise in those kinds. But just any thoughts, I mean, about warning, not us, but who's going to warn visitors not to leave their car keys on the beach or patrol or
Because every single one of those visitors who is a victim is new, it's really, really hard to just solve that issue. One thing I'm trying to work on personally is you've been to Walmart or Home Depot. They have those in the parking lot. They have those towers, those camera towers. If I can get one of those parked in the Sharks Bay, that would be such a. But of course, money information from the boxes above. There's politics and this and that. So I'm trying to get that done. That would solve so many issues because at the very least it's a deterrent. At the most, I can arrest somebody. So we're working on it. Oh, we can absolutely.
You know, gentlemen, if there's anything you ever need board support on, just give me a call. Lieutenant knows how to get a hold of me.
Thank you.
And we're happy to put it on the agenda. I love that idea. That's a fabulous idea.
It's about solutions.
Yeah, I love that. Community, any quick questions? Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much. Nice to meet you, sir. Before you leave, let me give you my card.
Thank you. Big business card, you gotta do that.
Thank you very much. Hey, Ocean Safety, Vitor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vitor Marcal. I'm representing Ocean Safety Department. I'm the captain for the North Shore Lifeguards. Here are the stats for August. Close. Is that better? All right. I'm just going to go through a few things here that, usually we do as part of our work. We, drownings. We have a drowning there was 3 tables in a boat that was anchored in there in August. That was the only one drowning you had. Rescues involving swimming, surfing, dive. For all of you guys, probably some of you guys don't know, we respond all the way to Kaneohe boat ramp, Heia boat ramp. And we have a jet ski in that area now, which is called Rescue 9. So we take the calls in there. So we responded to 6 people on board of a vessel in a distress. No injuries at Kaneohe Sandbar. 12 people on board, waist deep water vessel, taking water on Kaneohe Sandbar, and a few others. We had a Lay Point windsurfer down about, I don't know, he was about a mile out. And we went there to pick him up with the jet skis too. Have a possible cutaway. We responded to those cutaway shoots at Hokulea, Skydive Hawaii, and those places. We take those calls too. Let me see. The medical we had dislocated shoulders at Waimea Bay, shore break, small shore break, people jumping off the jump rock. Right? There was a 12-year-old male that fell and couldn't move at Puena Point. We have a shark, confirmed shark 6 to 7 feet at Waimea Bay, right in the middle of the bay, tiger shark. Here are the stat numbers for the towers. We have 8 towers, 3 jet skis, and we have, I think everybody saw a truck at Sharks Cove and 3 tables doing patrols in both areas all the time. Sharks Cove became a very hot place, a lot of tourists, a lot of people visiting, and a lot of foot traffic people, you name it. Sharks Cove alone, we had 3 rescues. with Waimea Bay, 3 rescues as well. Sunset Beach, no rescues. Chans is another place we have a lot of rescues. I think there's a lot of people going there for spending the day surfing. The surf is small. There's a lot of surf schools, and it's a normal thing that happens on a daily basis for us anyways. Numbers for attendance, we had for all these towers, jet skis and Sharks Cove, just attendance itself is the number of people that we see every day coming and going to the beach, about 371,000 for August.
1 month?
It's a lot of people. Sometimes it repeats itself because you're not really checking people that actually are leaving and people are coming. So there's that mix. Usually in between, I think 11 o'clock and 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, those are the peak hours for people coming to the beach. Preventative action is anything we do to prevent people to get in trouble, right? So 37,000, right? We talk to a lot of people during the day. People coming to us and ask for other places to go, what the safest place to swim, especially when they have a little bit of surf or shore break. Public contact, 61,000. And rescues total for all the towers and jet skis, 17. First aid reports, we have 6. For the first aid, I think everybody knows here, we treat people with people that step on fish hooks, bee stings, sea urchin, and so on. They can go for a simple Band-Aid to patch them up and call EMS. Any questions?
Board members, questions for Vitor? Yes, Denise.
Thank you so much for the report. When you were at Sunset Beach Community Association last week reporting, you also broke down the numbers for, could you repeat those numbers for Waimea and Sharks Cove for August? Because that was very important
Waimea
information.
Bay always has been the busiest spot. I used to work there. We have 73,000, almost 74,000 attendants. Preventative action, 6,000. Public contact, 7,000. And you asking for Sharks Cove, 76,000 for Sharks Cove attendance. Preventative action, 5,891. And public contact, 9,323.
Thank you. Our community, any questions? Yes. In 1 month. When I heard the West Side numbers, I was like, whoa, and now I hear these and I'm like, whoa. I didn't realize how many people go to the beach on a monthly basis. That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you
Okay.
guys notice the parking too and all that. It's just
Yeah.
like, just looking at the parking, you see all those people are in the water
Yeah.
at that point, or somewhere on the beach, right? Hanging out,
Exactly.
walking the rocks or taking.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for your report. We
you.
really appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next up, Board of Water Supply. We had 2 main breaks this past 2 months. On August 13th, and I'm sorry, Raquel, we had a 6-inch main break right in front of Raquel's house, 66-948 Cueva Drive. Then we had on August 24th, we had a 4-inch main break opposite Kawailoa on Kamehameha Highway. Luckily, that was off on the side of the road. We are asking people, if you haven't noticed how dry it has been, it's been very, very dry. We had 18% of normal rainfall this past month in August, which is abnormally dry even for a dry month. We had 17% of normal in December of last year, and last year we were supposed to have a lot of rain and it never materialized. So doesn't mean we're running out of water, but it means we need to be thoughtful about the water that we use and that we need to malama the vai, because if we don't, your great-grandchildren may not have water. So we don't do this just for today. We look generations down the road, because that's really how we should look at our resources, not just what we have today, but who's coming after us in the future. So in the past, we've asked for 10%. We're not going for 10%. We ask you to save 20%. That means don't run the faucet when you're brushing your teeth. Turn off your shower when you're showering, soap up, and then turn it back on. Put a nozzle, and please don't be landscape. I'm sorry, all you people with green lawns irritates me. This is Hawaii. The first good rain, it'll get green again. Trust, right? You know, we all know that it's going to get green again. So I'm sorry if your lawn is brown, but that's actually a good thing, and that means you're saving water and you're protecting the Aina. We need water, so Raquel can water her goats and cattle, and Dave can grow his papayas. You know, we need food. So, yeah, please just anything you can do to save water. It's really, really important. So thank you very much for that. Any questions? Yes, George.
Can the board tell how much drop we have in water table?
Yes. Yeah, we do. What we go out. Well, it's not so much us as it's the USGS does it, and they go out and they check the water table on a regular basis. And we actually do pumpage every month that we report to our board. And what we do is the well heads. And right now we have 6 wells. We had 1 well in Caution, 2 wells in Alert, and I think like 3 wells in kind of, like Kaimuki, for example. Every year Kaimuki goes into almost critical. It dips into critical and then comes right back up again. So we know that that's its pattern. But yes, we do watch the well heads, not necessarily the water table. That is mostly USGS, but we do. Every month we report it, and those numbers can be found on our website. Yes, Bob?
As you drive down from Wahiawa on the east side, there's a lot of agricultural areas that are developing where the sugarcane used to be. And I have to assume they're using a lot more water than in recent years. And my question is it potable water or is it, I see a head shake. I mean, it's not potable water that they use. Okay, well,
They actually use the water from the old Dole irrigation system. The potable water doesn't start until the well or reservoir up here on Kamehameha.
So when they get water, do they pay the Board of Water Supply for theirs? They're buying from Kamehameha?
Right now they pay Dole.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, Blake?
Thank you very much. I think everyone in this room and people across Oahu appreciate Board of Water Supply. Number one, for keeping water flowing, and then number two, for the way you guys have spoken up on the public's behalf, given a variety of different crises that have emerged. And I think that you guys are a testament to like how a public agency can represent the public interest. Recently, there was a Civil Beat article highlighting the top water consumption, the users. And it's
Kaneohe Marine Corps Base.
yeah, and Pacific Waikiki, Prince Waikiki Golf Club, Hilton Hawaiian Village, Eva Beach Golf Club, Kapolei Golf Course, Disney Vacation Resort. And these are like their average monthly gallons. And maybe you can interpret these numbers, but like say for Prince Waikiki Golf Club, the way this article is listed is 25,251. I'm assuming that's more than 25,000. It's probably 25 million.
So just so you know, on the west side, and I wish I had the my chart with me, and actually I will email you guys our list. Many of the golf courses on the west side actually have their own wells.
Mhm.
I'm assuming they got a lot of that data from Seaworm, most likely. They have their own wells, and they usually use brackish or near brackish water. They don't get it from us.
Okay.
Now they'll get their potable water necessarily from us, but when it comes to the golf course, they use non-potable water.
Yeah, so like Hilton Hawaiian and Disney, I guess I just recall like a year or two ago, I had sort of felt a little funny because there was a discussion of potential rate increases, and there was an explanation by someone who was representing BWS that the large users get a discounted rate, and that might be an inappropriate way of characterizing that. But
Don't
maybe
get
you
any
can,
discounted rate.
maybe you can help explain Board of Water Supply's approach to these ultra large users in these times of asking the public to conserve?
So first of all, they pay the highest rate. All non-residential water users pay our flat rate. And that is the highest rate because residential users, single family, pay a tiered rate where the first 2,000 gallons are about 20, I forget how much, but it's below the cost of service. Everybody gets that. Then up to 6,000, you have another rate. When we did the last rate things, we shoved it so those people who use a lot of water pay the most. We did that deliberately. We did listen, we did hear. Hotels pay the highest rate. So do Department of Education, so do all the government buildings. Everybody pays that same flat rate. We do not give them a tiered rate when it comes to the businesses. So they do pay, and they actually subsidize single-family homes because we only pay about 94% of cost of service. So we actually pay a little less than it costs for the Board of Water Supply to serve water to them. Golf courses, yeah, I agree. It's a problem. A lot of the ones on the west side do use non-potable water, and I'll get that list. They also use recycled water because we have that recycle plant out there. And I'll get that list because it does come up frequently, that question. And so I had our water resources team pull a list together. So I'll be happy to share that with people. I'll bring that next month. So that's how we do our rates. Now, most of the military, with the exception of Kaneohe Marine Corps Base, has their own water systems. And they have to report everything to the Commission on Water Resource, their pumpage and stuff like that. The only one who doesn't is the Marine Corps Base. And they are the largest water user in our system, and especially on the windward side. We have been working with them to get their recycled water plant up and running and get their golf courses on that, because we agree with you. And my boss, pretty much at every one of our staff meetings, asks our water resource guys what's going on with that. He's very, very sensitive about that, and he's very aware of it. So we're working diligently to get them off of potable water, at least as far as the golf courses are concerned. So thank you for that. That's really good. Anything else? Did I answer all your questions?
Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you. And just so people know, on the hotels, we do work with the hotels to get them to reduce their water use. And actually, hotels are pretty efficient. The other thing we started doing is going out to multi-unit homes because they don't get a bill from us. And there's usually a lot of landscaping. So we want to make sure that, you know, they're not wasting water on those things as well. So, and we are doing a pilot project with Mid-Pac Pacific Golf Club out on the windward side to do some turf replacement with native species that are less water thirsty. So yeah, I constantly push them on that stuff because to me, it's a luxury. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. It's like, to me, if I had my way, all the golf courses would be brown, but I didn't say that, did I? Okay, thank you, Greg. Any other questions? If not, I'll move on. To residents' concerns, please come up to the mic. We have a two-minute time limit. Thank you very much. Always please be sure to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Erica Lemkel, North Shore Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and local resident. I'm also the North Shore Christmas Parade planner. Yay, it's that time again. So yeah, there's some flyers up here. Oh yeah, there's one. If you're interested in signing up for the Christmas Parade, it is always the second Friday of December. So this year it is Friday, December 12th, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The order of march in the parade will be partially determined by how quickly you get your application in and your entry fee paid, and when you attend the safety meeting, because a lot of people like to be in a certain position. So please let them know. It's determined by how quickly you respond and get all your information in. The other Christmas events for the North Shore Chamber of Commerce are the Christmas tree lighting on Saturday, November 29th. That is also Small Business Saturday. So we're trying to keep everyone up on the North Shore all day. And the Small Business Saturday will culminate with North Shore Marketplace Christmas tree lighting that evening when it gets dark, about 6:30 or so. the North Shore Chamber of Commerce Christmas party, silent auction, and all that good fun stuff will be Thursday, December 11th at Waimea Valley. It's the day before the parade. So our normal rhythm every year is going to be Christmas tree lighting on Small Business Saturday, the parade always the second Friday, and the Christmas party the night before. So if you have any questions, my phone number is on this flyer. It's 6:30 to 8:30. The road will be closed 5:30 to 8:30. So please make sure you arrange for that if you own a business or live in one of those areas. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Erica, please email me a JPEG of the poster and I'll make sure it gets on our Facebook page.
Yes,
too.
ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate. Anybody else? Liv. Oh.
Hi.
Oh.
um, here you go. Thank you for allowing me this time. My name is Olivia Eagle, and I'm currently a student at Hawaii Pacific University. And I'm also serving as an intern with the Office of Representative Peruso, which represents the North Shore. For my senior capstone next semester, I wanted to conduct some research regarding how pesticides from agricultural runoff affect the North Shore. So a main component of my research would be conducting like talk story interviews with you folks, just to see if you guys have experienced change with pesticides or experienced any negative effects with pesticides, or if you haven't. So you can contact me at 253-303-9644. And you can also contact me at liveagleee, so 3 E's, at gmail.com. And I'll stick around after if you folks want to meet with me. And yeah, thank you so much.
You can also contact her at Rep Peruso's office as well. She's interning with Rep Peruso.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Liv. Thanks for coming up. Larry, thank you.
I'm going to talk a little bit about sustainability, and I thank Kathleen for her introduction about the future generations and so on. Everybody know what's going to happen in this room next week? Okay, city and county is going to unveil the draft North Shore Sustainable Communities Plan. And I encourage everybody to be here. You know, thinking about the North Shore Sustainability Community, North Shore Community Sustainability Plan, I thought it might be fun if we could all agree on a definition for sustainability and include that in the final version of the plan. So I circulated my definition that I came up with, and I hope that you folks will think about coming up with your definition of sustainability, and we can discuss it next week and beyond. I'm not asking the board to take a position. I'm just trying to start a discussion. And I hope you'll agree that if you're going to call your document the North Shore Sustainability Plan, you should define what you mean by sustainability, because there are many, many different definitions. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Bill.
Sorry. So first I have a question. When it comes to the Laniakea parking area and the, what was the city park, who's in charge of that now? Is that city or state?
Well, we're actually going to talk extremely briefly about it tonight. Our actions on the agenda is we're appointing Denise to be our representative. It's the state is overseeing it, but we are very brief discussion about it, but it is the state. But Denise would be the person you'd want to go and talk to.
Okay, and because just my concern is back when it was city and they recognized it, they were actually doing some minor maintenance out there and emptying the trash, and they also spread what do you call it? They scrape the gravel flat. So right now, if you go out there, it's really bad. So, and we're not even into surf season. It's been dry, but it needs some attention. It's dangerous. Like people are going to trip and fall, and it's like I scraped the bottom. And then the only other thing, I don't know what is the alternatives, but when you're trying to pull out of that onto Cam Highway, those big yellow bollard things, it's right in the way. You just can't see the oncoming traffic. And then yeah, every night when I drive home, there's somebody just, so I don't know if there's been any accidents yet, but it's just quite awkward, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you,
But I
Bill.
do request, if we can, whatever agency, try to take a look at least sort of smoothing out that parking area a little bit.
Okay, thanks, Bill. And by the way, Bill has some stickers that he left up front, so, well, I got the upside down, sorry. So please help yourself to a sticker. Thank you, Bill, for bringing those tonight. And I saw Denise quickly taking a lot of notes, so thank you for that. Any other resident concerns? Yes, young man.
Thank you. Haven't heard young man in a while. Okay. Yeah, aloha kako. My name is Jonathan Lance. I'm from the State Climate Change Commission. Yeah.
I met Bill on Saturday. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna try and keep this under 2 minutes. But basically, we recently completed a draft of our Climate Action Pathways report, which is basically a roadmap for a bunch of different actions that we're advocating for the state to adopt to address climate change impacts. And right now we're in a public commentary, like public feedback period. So we're really trying to get the word out there to have communities give us feedback. And so the report is out there. The basic like meat of it is we have 23 recommendations that kind of cover like different sectors. So energy, buildings, food security, water quality, waste, transportation. And what we have is like the full report that people can check out, which is like 180 pages. It's kind of intense. We have an executive summary that's a lot shorter, about 20 pages. So it's a good starting point. But we also have like a really simple online platform where it's like basically just outlines the 23 recommendations, and then people can go on, they can check them out, read about it, and then people can give us suggestions, opinions. We really just want to hear like what people like, what people don't like, if there's things that people think are missing from the suggestions. How do people want to see these actions like implemented in their communities specifically? And so that's what we're really inviting people to do. I think it's a good chance for, we really do want people, communities to be able to help shape what this looks like. And so I have a bunch of flyers that I can leave on the table. It has a website to go check that out. And then on the website, it has links to like the full report, the executive summary, all that. And there's a QR code people can scan too. So I'll put these flyers on the table. I printed out 40.
Okay, that should be plenty. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
because there's like
thank
so
you.
many people here. I was like pretty impressed at the turnout. So hopefully that's enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there's also an email. When you go to the website, there's also an email. So people can, questions or suggestions, like things that aren't in our recommendations, but people have ideas, they can send us emails there. And yeah, to help shape an affordable, healthy, and safe future for Hawaii. So I think to us, it really is about affordability, safety, and health.
Thank you very much. We
Okay.
appreciate you coming out here
Yeah,
tonight.
of course.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
All right, Dell.
Hi, my name is Delphine Otinero, a longtime resident of the North Shore. I came by a few months ago and I had a concern about the park down in Haleiwa Beach Park in particular. I've been going there with my grandkids and I was very appalled about the condition of Haleiwa Beach Park. My last concern I voiced out was my keikis go down in the evening, and we try to do something and play activities there, especially, try to get them off the computers and try to do activities down there in the evening. And there's no lights, especially by the playground area. And I'm kind of concerned because of the homeless people, and there's no lights for the kids there. And first of all, because of safety. And another thing too is, I don't know, I mean, are we gonna have any lights, especially for the kids? There's lights on the volleyball court or in the basketball court, but in that one particular area, it's really dark. So I don't know, can we follow up on that?
Yeah, Denise is the chair of the Parks Committee. Go ahead.
I would respectfully request that that be directed through our city councilman, because Parks Committee can't solve all that stuff. But I can suggest that our council member and pointing at and Dr. Fox, because I think the city has been very, very responsive. Thank you for redirecting. Very, very responsive. So Dr. Fox is right there in the white shirt. Raise your hand. That's the best way to solve it.
That has been going on for years. That there has been no lights for our keikis. Another thing too is it's in disarray. It is a lot of weeds, especially by the shower area. It's pilau. It's dirty. The weeds are this high. And people are showering. You see all the soap scum all over the place.
Okay.
I mean, that park is, us locals say pilau. You don't want to even put your feet on that cement area. It's dirty.
Okay, thank you, Del. I will personally look into this as well with Dr. Fox. Thank you very much. Yes, next.
Boyd Reedy, I'm with the Waialua Historical Society. And I just wanted everybody to know that in April, we opened an exhibit all about Waialua's history. It's in the old sugar mill office building on the Mackay wing that we've renovated. And it's very worthwhile. Right now, we're keeping it open Monday, Tuesday, 10 to 1. And it's a wonderful historical exhibit all about Waialua's history. And on the 18th, we're having a fundraiser at the WCA. So look at waialuahistoricalsociety.org and find out how to come and support us and see if you can see the exhibit. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Residents concerned, sir.
My name is Douglas Ionon. I've been living here my whole life. Just another concern about the park. As soon as you come around the backside of the park, you go to enter the park, there's like pretty much a river of mud from the shower.
Haleiwa Beach Park?
Yeah, I have a Haleiwa Beach Park. And also there's like homeless in the bathroom. So when the kids go in, you can hear the lady's dog barking at the kids. So people are scared to go in the bathroom. And also it's like, nobody's really like, it doesn't really look like anybody's taking care of it. Like there's no like grass or anything. It doesn't look like nobody's taking care of it. And then another thing, like growing up as a little kid, I remember like there was like Haleiwa Sea Spree and sunset on the beach and stuff like that. I was just wondering like how can we get the community back together again? You know what I mean? Doing that kind of stuff. So just the
I
concern.
do know the chamber does a lot of good, they do the 4th of July, they have the Christmas parade, and have a number of events that are really good too. But thank you, sir. We'll make sure, Dr. Fox, you got that? Thank you. Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pailingutu Alkusoro Puamo. I am the outreach, homeless outreach. I guess it's fitting time when we're talking about all the homeless. I am from the Kehalaho West Oahu, KWO. We are the nonprofit agency, and we assist or service homelessness. So we are aware of a lot of community concerns regards to Haleiwa Beach Park. We are currently working closely with Kamehameha School. We're trying to service people, but the problem is a lot of them are service resistant. So has been, yesterday we met with them, with the Kamehameha officials, and we are looking into offering assistance with them. And then if not, they're gonna go with whatever that the Kamehameha school, like HBD is gonna get involved, and the city and county and etc. But I'm only here today to report the numbers that Monday and Tuesday, we service District 2. So Monday, we service the North Shore, Haleiwa, Mokuleia, and Sunset Beach. We have, for the month of August, we're reporting for the prior month, we have serviced or encountered 103 homelessness within District 2 alone, and 65 the numbers of service resistant. And we are currently working with 38 of them that are interested in our service. And you may wonder what we provide. We service them with a lot, with vital documents, barriers that refrain them from obtaining housing. And the majority of that, it will be their vital documents. So we're assisting them with that. And we have family of 15 that are actually in the program and are referred to housing and awaiting for placement.
Could we get a phone number where we may reach you? Yes.
I have my cards here and I will place them here,
Okay,
but
thank
my number is 808-745-6053.
Thank you.
And also has all our outreach team consists of 3, include our supervisor, our director, homeless director, which is Valerie Tuiloma. So it's all in this card. I left the reports here and then the brochure as well.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for coming.
you.
I know you've been coming to our meetings, so thank you very much. We appreciate that. Any final community concerns?
About
Okay, just let me keep going. Okay, go ahead, Manu.
Aloha, I'm Manu Anana. I wanted to thank the City and County Parks and Rec because the last 2 town hall meetings, I brought up a request to assist. I needed assistance to clear the drain at Ali'i Beach Park. So they have been pumping the lines for like 3 to 4 weeks. So thank you very much to the City and County. We won't know the result until the next heavy rain, but
At least they're pumping. Go ahead, Mark.
Aloha Kako, Chair, Board, Community, Maka Casson Fisher. Thank you for the votes and the concerned thoughts. I humbly withdraw my self-nomination. Mahalo nui, Carol Phillips. The knowledge and the historical ability to maintain a seat at this space and speak on behalf of residents is important. But I also realize that you get to have more speaking time when you're on this side.
Not really, Maka, you done. No.
Mahalo, Chair. In regards to sustainability, the Punana Leo o Waialua has been open for 4 years. Punana Leo Waialua is a Hawaiian language preschool where Keiki and their family learn Hawaiian language together. Now, after they graduate after 2 years, where do they go? The closest Kaiapuni or Hawaiian language school is Hau'ula or Waiau in Aiea. We're currently making that trek. I bring this up because Haleiwa Elementary was approved to have a Kaiapuni. That's a school within a school, a Hawaiian language school within a school. So the graduates, the keiki, the preschoolers, can go on to kindergarten. Now, unfortunately, a kumu was not found. A kumu was not able to be placed at the school. Therefore, the program was not able to start. So the lack of kumu is not necessarily the problem. It's the lack of housing, lack of opportunity for the kumu to come all the way down from where they live because it's so exorbitant expensive to live out here. So, preaching to the choir, I know we all know this. Sitting at the Mililani Neighborhood Board meeting and their discussion about housing for teachers was inspirational. I think we should also get on that bandwagon and encourage that the priority, yes, be for Kumu, but also for Kumu Kayapuni, for Hawaiian language teachers. Hawaiian language, students in the Hawaiian language program, the enrollment is growing. They need spaces. We need to provide that for them. September is Hawaiian Language Month, Hawaiian History Month. And with the birthday of our queen, Liuokalani, and the ongoing of activities throughout the month, I wanted to share that there is the Holo Holo going on, provided by Jabsum and Papaolokahi, which is this Friday. If you're interested, check out Jabsum. They'll be going around downtown and talking about historical places. And right here, thank you, Boyd, for sharing about your folks' space and the history. In Haleiwa, we have Queen Liuokalani Church on October 19th. It's a plug for them. Mahalo, Denise, for sharing with me. October 19th, they'll be sharing about the Hawaiian ali'i who lived in Waialomoku in this space. We have a historical elementary school, Haleiwa Elementary. We have a historical church, an opportunity to uplift Hawaiian language and Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian history in Waialomoku is here. So in regards to sustainability, that's my answer.
Thank you, Maka.
Mahalo.
Appreciate it. Okay, we do need to move on. Is there anybody else? If not, I'm going to move on. Are you coming? Okay, Frank, move it. Frank.
Aloha. I just wanted to know, I was concerned about some historic buildings on Haleiwa Beach Road, or Haleiwa Road, I should say. And so I didn't know if there was any plaques commemorating the historical buildings at Haleiwa Elementary School and also at the fire station. And if those are designated historical landmarks at all.
Go talk to Auntie and Boyd, please.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank you,
because just
Frank.
like the plaques we have in Haleiwa, I would appreciate if we could get those recognized
Great
too.
suggestion, Frank.
The concern, of course, is that these are historical landmarks.
Of course, understood. Thank you. Yeah, go talk to Auntie. We do need to move on, but go ahead. Okay, we can't hear you.
There is a plaque at Haleiwa Beach Park, and we'll work on that hopefully next year. Okay, thanks.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, we do need to move on. Got some things. So I want to circle back to filling of the vacant board seat. First of all, we do have a seat in Waialua. Is there anyone interested in running for the Waialua seat? Okay, then we have the Haleiwa seat. Maka, did he leave? You are withdrawing, right? Okay, so we have Carol Phillips. Carol, please come up in case anybody has any questions. Any board members have questions for Carol before we take a vote? Okay. All right. Please go ahead.
Dave, I. Amy. George. Cheryl. Chef. Raquel. Saz. Debbie. Denise. Charlene. Bob.
Aye.
Blake. Kathleen.
We'll take a brief recess while you get sworn in. Thank you.
Thank you, Maka.
Yeah. Yes. And a big seat next to Debbie. Yes. Yes. I'm happy to do that. I just. Give your vote, sure. Thank you. Debbie. Thank you. Yeah.
And yet when you're growing fast.
Ooh, back to right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a reality check.
Yeah. Today, I was really shocked. Up the print, they were like, oh.
Because the end
Well, those two gets to it. I said, well, if there's even one rain or something, then you have a.
Goes back. Okay, everybody, we're back in order. Thank you. Please go take your seats. Thank you. Okay, first up, we didn't do our health and emergency prep committee. I do need a board member. Is there a board member who is interested in chairing that committee? Because if there isn't, then we don't have the committee. Because I'm already chairing one committee. I'm not going to chair two. Don't everybody step forward at once. Okay, well then we're just going to move on. We can always revisit that later. Thank you. Denise, okay, so Denise Antolini has graciously accepted being the North Shore Neighborhood Board 27 representative to the Lani Akea Working Group. And I did authorize her to go to a recent meeting because it was before we had this meeting. But we want to make it official and follow all the rules. So at this point, I do need a motion to appoint Denise as our representative to the Lani Akea Working Group that is formed by DOT. Charlene, do I have a second? Bob, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Thank you, Denise, for stepping up on that. She's now going to give us just a quick, brief update on what the most recent 2 meetings were. Thank you, Denise.
Thanks for your vote. So Lani Akea is of great interest to everyone in this room, right? So as some of you were here when Department of Transportation presented their plan. The DOT team also went to the Sunset Beach Community Association and presented we're talking about the Mackay parking lot, not the whole project, although I do have an update on the project. And then, as they mentioned at the last couple of meetings, they are required to form a working group that was required by the city. Thank you, Councilmember Wire. And also by the State Board of Land and Natural Resources, that they form a working group in order to not just design the parking lot, but to collaborate with the community and partners on who's going to manage it and what's it going to become, right? So that working group has met twice. Kaleo Hano is also on the working group. It's a little invite-only working group. Kaleo Hano represents Sunset Beach Community Association. The first meeting was just a presentation of their various iterations of the parking lot plan. I have to say that they have been really listening to community input, including in particular the residents of Pohakaloa Way, but everybody who's involved, they've been iterating the plan. The last working group meeting, which was last week, they presented the revised plan again and everybody supported it. There wasn't a formal vote, but it was like, any concerns, any objections? No. So it's been distributed by email. Kathleen and I just got it again today. It's been distributed, and I think Kathleen graciously made some copies, very teeny, but basically take a look, ask me if you have questions, or Kaleo Hano, but basically some of the things they modified are that if you enter the parking lot, you have two options to come out. You can go back to Haleiwa, or you can there's a turning lane now where you can go back to Waimea direction. So that's a modification that was requested. There's also some turnaround areas. So they've made it better circulation. There are 3 ADA parking spaces. Yay, never enough, but 3 is good. And there are 3 lifeguard parking stations, 3 ocean safety parking spaces. And there's a very big fire lane for first responders on the Malka side of the Mackay parking lot. I think that's all I'll say for now. There are 50 spaces that was required by their permits. Where we're headed next, and this gets a little bit into Bill's question, although you're asking about the current parking lot conditions, which is a city maintenance issue, Dr. Fox. But going forward, the next meeting, they will present to us the various jurisdictions that are involved. That's a very complicated area because, as Bill was mentioning, the city owns that 3 acres of parkland, right? Which that's where the realignment is going through. So the state has to negotiate with the city about what happens to that city parkland. Also, the shoreline certification several years ago, some of you know this, when the shoreline was certified, like what state land and what's DOT land, or where is the shoreline in terms of jurisdiction. It was certified basically across Malka from the highway, right? So it's very complicated. They're going to present to us more information about the various TMKs and jurisdiction. And then the working group's going to go forward and start to talk about how could that parking lot be managed by whom. And I think Kaleo Hano and I in particular, we're going to be trying to voice, I think, community concern that residents have priority, that there be some kind of management system. Eventually it could tie into some kind of shuttle system or whatever, but it's a prime opportunity for us to really improve the situation there for residents and for visitors. So that's where it's headed. I have to applaud DOT for just moving forward with the working group. They were required to do it, but they're actually doing it and they're listening. So we're on track. And let me or Kaleo Hano know if you have questions.
Okay, we'll entertain a few questions. We can't do a total deep dive into it because we have other things on the agenda. But I'm going to try and make space for Denise to give a regular update at every board meeting, at least, so we are kept informed on what's going on. Board members, any quick questions? Go ahead, Denise.
Sorry, I forgot to add, you notice they're on pause right now. They did have an inadvertent discovery, right? So if you drive by all the time, so they're on pause following the required protocol. So you've seen it be quiet for a while, and they provided us an explanation for that in email. If you're interested in that, we can share that with you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sass.
With 371,000 visitors just coming to North Shore in August of 2025, I was just wondering what the working group's comments are on implementing a paid parking system for visitors with free parking for residents.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So we're not there yet. And obviously I don't speak for the whole working group, but those kinds of hard questions are why the working group was formed, in order to try to address those hard questions. And that's where, those are conversations we're going to have. So yeah. We've got to find some solutions, right, as a community. And again, until this working group happened, because of conditions the city and state put in, DOT was just going to build a roadside parking area and leave, but they're not now. And so we have a chance to make a difference. Thanks.
Yeah, what is the vision for the buses for that area? Is there
buses meaning city buses?
The tourism buses,
So, right.
the little ones and the big ones.
Right. So actually, under the plan, there are no large trucks or buses allowed in the parking lot. And it's teeny weeny little print, but that's what the signs on here say. So yeah, not allowed under this design. It's regular vehicle parking is allowed. Yeah.
So what's going to happen to them? They just can't stop anywhere along that road, right?
We're just talking about the parking lot because that's my little Kuleana here, and it's just not going to be
Thank you.
legal in the parking lot. Yep. But we'll have to address spillover like you're mentioning. Yeah.
Denise, I don't know if you said it. How many parking places? Last I heard was 50?
50.
It's insufficient.
That's was required. So that's almost what there is now.
Yeah, it's always full and they're mixed in there.
Well, I'm sorry. That's what it is. Yeah. That's what it is. 50.
Okay.
Hey, any community, any quick questions for Denise? Okay, Blake, go ahead.
Thank you, Denise. I know you've put a lot into this to make it what it is, and I think it's headed in the right direction. I think it's important for everyone to recognize Councilmember Wire, and then also remember particularly Chair Waters really going to bat for the community and ensuring that DOT followed the law and also respected the community's wishes in terms of protecting our right to access the coastline. And I think just a continued appreciation to everyone that's got it this far. And then my only question would be, like, would you predict that the entrance and exit system would be modifiable in the future if something were to be learned through watching and observing? Like, would it be possible to go back towards that one way in and one way out design, so that, you know what I'm saying? Like this, if we learn from observing, would you predict that the entrance and exit possibly could be modified in the future?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. So there's so many unknowns here. I mean, we barely just started the discussion, but yeah, I'll just make sure to make that point in the working group. Here's an example of kind of what you're saying, Blake. So Ocean Safety's comments was, our lifeguard tower eventually is going to have to be moved because of coastal erosion, right? So where can we move it under this plan? So I raised that and basically said, they said, we just had to make sure that nothing that's designed precludes that kind of adjustment. I also asked if gates can be installed on both ends so it can be closed at night and managed in the future, and just to make sure that the design doesn't preclude all these management options. And I want to apologize, Debbie, I was too short on saying it's 50. I'm sorry. The balance of who gets to park there is going to make a big difference in the long run, right? So one of the things I think that Kaleohano and I are really trying to say is residents should have some kind of priority. It's not, you have a certain number of spaces, but it's how you use them and who uses them. Like, let's say Hyanna is a good example. So hopefully that, Blake, thank you and Debbie, thank you for those points.
Is the delicate ecosystem taken into account on how many people should be visiting that spot? It seems crazy to invite extra people to a place where we are also tiptoeing around an endangered species. And is the endangered species our coastline or the turtles? So I think that number will change too in the future.
Yeah, Malama Inahonu is part of the working group. So deliberately, they were invited because of their stewardship role with the Honu. Also, OCCL is formally part of the working group in terms of the vulnerability of the coastline. So these are really good points, which is why we have the working group. Really good points. Thank you.
Go ahead, Carol.
My question is, so very concerned, not really so concerned about the turtle tourist or turtle terrorist ability to see those turtles. I think that is can be addressed with the shuttle system that's getting worked on. But my concern is that 50 parking stalls for surfers isn't nearly enough. I can tell you there have been times when Pipeline has had 500 surfers out at it. And Lani Akea is a long lineup and accommodates a lot of surfers. So is there going to be overflow parking like there is right now on the side of the roads? Is that all going to be kaput? And the other question is when you talk about residents only parking, is that residents that live in Wailua Haleiwa zip codes? Is that residents of Oahu? Because I know a lot of the visitors to the North Shore are like, North Shore is the backyard for the whole island too. So how is that going to play out?
So I don't know the answer to these questions. Again, it's a working group. All these questions we'll take back to the working group. I'm certainly not the decision maker here, gang. Just community representative, all to be decided and discussed. Yeah, thanks.
Great, thank you very much. Real quick, Bill, and then we do need to move on. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bill.
Quickly, the 50 spaces, how that came about was back in the day before they put the barrier up, that was approximately how many cars would park on that area. And then, so, and my worry is what's going to happen at Chun's. So, that's already, at this stage, there's not much to do about it, but it's just something to be aware of moving forward. And then that also ties into the spillover parking, because when the surf is really good, all the guys are coming out from town and I just hope that it's not too prohibitive for the surfers.
Thank you, Bill. Good points. I want to just throw this out there because it really kind of stopped us. So myself, Raquel, Denise, Gil Riviere, Karen Gallagher, all went to Haena, up to Hanalei Initiative. We went to meet with Joel Guy, who's the executive director, and we did a tour of how they're handling the parking down there out to KA and Haena. And he said something that kind of, I think we all just sat there and our mouths fell open. He said, you will never build enough parking. You will never build enough parking. And if you do, you keep building parking, you will keep filling it and filling it and filling it. So it's just something for us to consider and think about. It was just one of those concepts. Nobody's ever put it that way before. And I don't know, I personally was like, wow, it was kind of an aha moment. So it was a great trip. And thank you, Denise, for your willingness to serve on the committee. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we have something that's near and dear to some of our hearts. Council Bill 56. I'm going to ask our council member, Matt Wire, who's with us. Thank you, Matt, for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. So Bill 56 relates to special management area permits, the minor version, which is anything, according, I guess, to the state, under $750,000. He, at the request of several community members, put in a bill regarding the minor permits. And today at City Council, the zoning committee under Council Member Kia Aina heard this, did an informational briefing. They also did an informational briefing on a reso that Council Member also put in on conditional use permits minor. And that will probably be on our October agenda for discussion. But at this point, I'm going to ask Council Member to brief us on today's meeting and then on the bill. And board members, I did send you all of this information. I hope you had a chance to review it. Thank you.
Aloha, Malu. Aloha, Chair, board members, members of the community. So as Chair mentioned, we had Bill 56, which is specific to the special management area use permits. And then we also had resolution 25 let me make sure I have the number right, 228. And that relates to the conditional use permits. That one's a resolution because it would be an amendment to the land use ordinance. So there's an additional process, go through the department and then the planning commission. And then the SMA one is a bill because that's just in our city ordinances. So we had a really good discussion, and so we're grateful zoning chair put them on agenda for discussion, not to be voted on, because I know at first reading she was a little concerned. We did have some opposition from DPP, but we had think, a thorough discussion about paths forward. And so we're going to be working with them on maybe some amendments to put forward to at least increase public notice and participation. And I'll just flag, we have another resol that we introduced separate from that was resolution 25-268. And that one is pretty much asking the department, which they were open to create a database online that has all the minor applications. And not a heavy lift, I don't think, because right now we already have a big map online for all the STR short-term rental violations that go out and all the certificates. And so we could probably overlay that at least so folks are informed of when applications come in. But the department was open to also including a step that allows for the department to evaluate based on the input a possible public hearing. And so that's what we're going to be fleshing out with the language that we put forward. And we don't have any solid language yet, but just to give you kind of a high level reason for these measures, I don't think any of us want to interfere with, legitimate legal allowed processes that folks are doing, particularly if they're just, updating their home. But the language is written in the bill specifically is at the discretion of the board. And I think it really functions as a notice, right, for the community to provide input to DPP, because oftentimes we're finding that we find out about projects in the community after they've already been approved and are already on their way. I think the gondola project is a prime example of that, of things we don't want to see happening. And understanding that, as I've shared at other community meetings, I do think our DPP planners are looking at the facts they have. Most of the time, they're looking at the facts they have, they're looking at the law, and they're making decisions based on that. But really what folks on the ground in the community often see are the misrepresentations that happen. Essentially, folks sometimes lie about the work that they're doing or undercut the scope in their application. And so just being able to get the community engaged at an early process, I think would actually improve the overall process by helping DPP planners have more information about permits that may be problematic, and they can do more in-depth analysis and avoid all this, litigation and all the issues that arise in the community. So I don't know if that's on point, Chair, but happy to take questions or clarify.
Okay, and then I did want to ask Vice Chair Chu to kind of address one of the reasons why this has become an issue. So Raquel?
So with the SMA, if you're not familiar, special management area, a large part of our community is a special management area. So when you want to do a project, a build, anything, you have to go through this process. And depending on the value of your project, you have to present your application and your plans to the community. And that would be if you exceed that threshold. I think it was last at 500,000, but the state passed an adjustment to 750,000. So if they're below that threshold, they don't have to come in front of us, which is a problem because they lie. So property owners, builders, developers, they go in and say, oh, and I'll give you this perfect example. There's a build right now. Someone not from here purchased property and said they were going to repair the structure and do alterations to the existing pool. There's never been a pool on this property. And there were not just repairs or upgrades to the electrical, they took it down to the studs. So they got a minor, never had to come in front of us. This house is on the shoreline. No environmentals were done. We don't know if they've dug up anything. We'll never know. So those are the type of things that if we have a special management area, then why are we not making sure it's treated as a special management area? I don't care about grandma and grandpa down the street want to make their garage bigger. No one cares. But these guys that are coming in and building new builds are getting away with some pretty extreme projects that are, and skipping the process. Now, the conditional use permit part of it is exactly the perfect example is the gondola. He never presented anything to this board, and that is not a minor project, but he checked the boxes and very likely fluffed it. So we're saying we just want notice of these types of applications so we can have the opportunity to say, we want to see this project and be able to provide input to DPP and say, who else knows this community better than us? They're just at the office, and these guys are mostly not from down here and have never engaged with us. We're surrounded by it right now, surrounded. And there's a lot of violations, by the way, you guys, so you better go check that shit out. Oh, sorry. But so that's why we want to pursue this bill, and it's not to ask them to rewrite the book, but to include us in a notice, advise us, let us know that these guys came in with an application. We don't want to add to DPP's process because they're doing a really great job on improving theirs. So we're even saying, put it on the applicant. Tell them that they have to come to us before they submit their application to them. Put it on them. So that's kind of the gist, yeah?
And then just to be clear though, tonight, the only thing on the agenda is the SMA, not the CUP. So we need to kind of contain our dialogue to the SMA. But that was the other thing that council member mentioned about this database. So one way to resolve the issue is if they just, when the applications come in and they put it into a database, then we can just search it. We don't need anything. We just go online and look for it ourselves. And then if something pops up, we can say, okay, what's going on here? When we get SMAs to the board, the majors, I send it out to the board members. 9 times out of 10, we're like, it's all good. We don't have any questions. It's fine. So we're not seeing something that's going to be onerous necessarily. But again, we have people, I mean, Sharks Cove was a good one too, Denise. 3 minors on 3 separate parcels when it was really one project. So we are really trying to give people notice, like, please don't try to play these games with us. You know, we're not stupid and we don't respect us. If you ask us to respect you, then respect us back is kind of what we're looking at. So Denise.
Thank you for introducing it, for going down to City Council today and pushing it along. I had a question about DPP's offer to do a database. I would just ask that they actually put the documents online, not just the entry or the name, because right now, like, as you know, when you go to look up building permits, you can't get the underlying documents, and then you have to do an information request. There's more burden on staff. So I don't know if they're already anticipating that, but like a one-click, here's the application would be fantastic.
Yeah, appreciate that. I'll definitely include that and would expect the same as well. So thank you.
Board members, any other questions? George.
Yeah, I've been on some searches and found that you can find the address and then there's a building permit. And then if you want additional information, you have to pay for every one of them. I mean, why?
Thanks, George.
I don't have the
Public information, why do you have to pay for it?
Yeah, I can, unless anyone from the city has input, but I won't put them on the spot. I'll ask specifically, but I know that standard course, they do oftentimes charge for document processing. I mean, that's even the same for like eCourt Kokua, the judicial system. But again, I'll clarify. Do you know the exact cost off the top of your head? Is it like 10?
I'm saying the document's there, you can see it,
Yeah.
but you can't open it even without paying.
Without
I mean,
paying.
you could, if we could open it and print it ourselves or read it, but you have to pay to open the document. And you'll find that on.
Yeah, George, that's what Denise was talking about too,
Appreciate
the
that.
exact same thing. Thank you. Good point. Any other questions from the board? Community, any comments or concerns? Yes, Dave.
Okay, good. No more questions, just a comment. I think we just have to acknowledge this moment because I'm really excited to be back on the board, and this is what it's all about. Someone said, they're protesting the gondola. What does that do? What do you even do at the neighborhood board meetings? Next thing you know, we have 3 communities coming together. Councilman was there. We had other people there. Look what happened. Instead of us saying, hey, something was happening in this community, somebody was wronging us, You came right away. Like, this isn't going to solve all the problems, but this is a great first step. The next board meeting, he comes up with just two simple ideas. And that was because we all stood up behind this. And so I think this is just a moment. Let's acknowledge that something's happening here. So I'm going to end with a clap for us and a clap for the council members. So thank you.
Before we go on, Vice Chair just reminded me that we did have the 4 board meeting, and our board that night supported supported a resolution against the gondola and asked the city to revoke the permit in its entirety. Wahiwa has jumped on, Mililani has jumped on, Mililani Mauka has approved, Nana Cooley has approved, Diamond Head has approved. We went to Waimanalo, they're taking it up next month. We're pretty sure they're going to approve. Kailua told me they're going to put it on their agenda. So we've been making the rounds of all the different neighborhood boards, and we're very, very grateful because they see the same problem in their communities where people come in with these minors. And in fact, we were talking with Councilmember Tupola as we were walking up the steps today, and she was telling us about a church that got a conditional use permit minor and did no outreach to the community. And it's right in the middle of a neighborhood, which is nice. It's nice, but apparently nobody knew about it. And so, of course, the community is a little concerned. So thank you very much. Any other questions? Board Member Achu?
I'd like to make a motion to support the bill and its efforts and Council Member Wire's pursuit with a cape
Okay, pursuit of.
of Bill 56.
Okay. So in other words, we're going to put all of our trust in you, Council Member. Do we have a second? Dave Burlew seconds. Any further board discussion? Yes, Bob.
I think the CC list on that should be significant. That's a vague, not one person receives a letter. So I would put the CC, make it a long one.
Okay. Matt, duly noted. Okay, great. Thank you. If there are no further comments or questions, we will call for the vote. Yes, Frank.
Yeah, with regards to things that are approved, like in the past and now they're being built like at Turtle Bay. I guess the question is, how long is an environmental impact statement good for? Is it just open-ended? Because in my experience, from what I've seen in the past 25 years, there's things that have been built that were approved, 20, 30 years ago. And I think there should be a time limit on those environmental impact statements so that they're just not open-ended, like, you can just do whatever you want after you wait 20 or 30 years. Is there any way to get DPP to put a time frame on these things so that we don't get caught off guard, not just by what they approve, but also by what was approved, in the past, and then 30 years later, here it comes.
Okay, so actually, EISs are a state issue, but our council member has already got 2 things going and resolutions. So we already asked him. So thank you, Frank. Thanks for bringing that up. Go ahead, Matt. Yeah, go for it.
I was going to say that we do have the resolution introduced for that as well, asking the state to implement the expiration date. I'll note that when you look at like different regulatory frameworks like the FAA, HUD, the feds do have time limits on an environmental review process. Now, that's not saying DPP just doesn't do anything, but I think it shows how we landed in the issue that we're in, because we have situations where I think oftentimes they feel like either side could sue. And I think if there's just clarity in the law, there'd be more comfort, and we can say, hey, we need to just redo this process at that, allotted time. But yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. If there are no further comments or questions, we will go ahead and take a vote. Thank you.
Dave,
Aye.
Amy, George, Cheryl, Raquel, Zaz, Carol, Debbie, Denise, Charlene, Bob,
Aye.
Blake, Kathleen. Adopted.
So next month, we will take up the CUP one, and we'll continue doing this on important legislation. And a huge shout out. Let's give our council member a huge shout out. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here today. Thank you. So he works really, really hard on, I cannot tell you how hard he works on our behalf. He really does a tremendous job, and he's got great staff. Kelly comes every board meeting. Let's give Kelly a big hand. Okay, our final presentation. We had a presentation on this project few months ago, earlier this year, actually. It's a multi-use path along Haleiwa Road. As you know, we have one along Waialua Beach Road. Now this would connect and go down towards the harbor. So after the last meeting, myself, Vice Chair Achu and Kaleo Hano met with the folks from the city. They graciously came out. We did a walk along the path and kind of talked about the different concerns and issues that we had. So tonight they've taken that input and the input that they received at the board meeting when they were last here. And this is the result. So thank you, Ora Nakamura. Take it away, please. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Chair, Community, and Board. Ora Nakamura with the Department of Transportation Services. Kelly Alkasaki was originally supposed to be presenting today, but she's a little under the weather. Kathleen had mentioned that we met with members of the community. So we presented in February some of our design concepts for Haleiwa Road to put like a multi-use path, put bike lanes and just improve the corridor itself. And we also met with members of the community in April, and we took whatever comments they had and made adjustments along the way in the corridor. Try to preserve as much parking as possible. Look at some alternatives such as going through Ali'i Beach Park or possibly by the harbor. And then we also, we took into account everybody's comments. So sure. So today I have Megan Inouye from the Department of Transportation Services and Jamel Jacala, sorry, with Bao Engineering, who is our design consultant for this project.
Hello, everyone. I will try. Right. Thank you. If you go back one slide, it's just the overall map. So like Oren said, my name is Jamel Jacala. I'm the design consultant with Bao Engineering for this project. And so tonight we're just going to show you some visuals of what we're proposing for Haleiwa Road through our project. So this first slide is just an overall map of Haleiwa Road. And for this presentation, we'll be starting from the Waialua Beach Road end and make our way towards Cam Highway. So this is shown from the Waialua Beach Road intersection. So from the intersection, we propose using a shared roadway indicated by those symbols you see on the bottom of the image. Those are called sharrows. But this shared roadway will be shared by both vehicles and bicyclists. We also propose adding paved shoulders about 3 to 4 feet wide on both sides. We hope this will make for a safer, wider path of travel for pedestrians. And it's kind of difficult to tell from this picture, but this is just after the bridge on Haleiwa Road. So up until this point, we're proposing shared roadway with paved shoulders. And then just after the bridge, we would like to transition to a shared use path shown in green. We'll make this transition using a raised crosswalk. The shared use path will be used by both pedestrians and bicyclists. The width of the path will vary between 8 to 12 feet wide, 12 feet being the preferred width. But that will vary depending on things we want to avoid touching, such as large ironwood trees, mailboxes, drainage structures, stuff like that. And so we move on down the road. We reach this intersection with Pa'ala'a Road. This is kind of just to show how the shared use path continues on. In this specific area, we are able to maintain that 12-foot wide preferred width for the shared use path. And then we indicate a 2-foot buffer, which will always come between the roadway and the path, just as an added level of safety between vehicles and then the pedestrians and bicyclists. This is also a good image to show of examples of items that we will need to relocate for this project. It's not limited to, but they do include fire hydrants and some signage. And then just a teeny bit further, we reach Haleiwa Elementary, where we will use the existing sidewalk. We'll widen it from 6 feet to 8 feet wide and use the sidewalk as the route for the shared use path. And we chose to do this in order to keep all of that street parking available, which we know is especially important during pickup, drop-off times for the school. And we kind of make a big jump all the way to Ali'i Beach Park. So up until this point, we proposed to maintain a shared use path, 8 to 12 feet wide, a 2-foot buffer. But up until Ali'i Beach Park, we will move the path into the park and maintain a width of 8 feet. So we understand that the street parking along the park is crucial to keep. So that's why we moved the path into the park. We do propose that we add the paved shoulders back onto the road at this point, just for added safety for anyone walking to their car or walking along the Mauka side of the road. And this slide kind of just shows what you can expect along Ali'i Beach Park. So we see the 8-foot wide shared use path. All that street parking is still available, and then the roadway with the newly paved shoulders. And then we come to the end of Ali'i Beach Park, where the shared use path will exit the park. It'll transition back to being 12 feet wide. We see that 2-foot buffer come back. And then we do end the paved shoulder on the Makai side of the road very briefly, but we do continue the shoulder on the Mauka side, which we'll see in the next slide. And then here, just in front of Haleiwa Boat Harbor, so you see the shoulder on the Mauka side continuing on, but we will need to transition the path back to shared roadway. This is because from this point on, we are very limited on space, but to mitigate that, we will add back the shoulder on the Makai side. And we'll use this, for this transition, we'll use a raised crosswalk, which we hope will encourage drivers to slow down, be more aware of pedestrians and bicyclists on the road. And finally, we come to the Cam Highway intersection, where we'll meet the highway with a shared roadway equipped with the sharrows and paved shoulders. Sure. Thank you.
And over here. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. As I mentioned, both Raquel and I went out, and they're just, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's way, way better than what it currently is. So, Bob.
I have 3 questions. There's a plan, and then there's the reality check with funding for the plan. Is there funding available for this plan? That's question 1. Question 2, when you move the path to the Makai side of Haleiwa Beach Road, currently there's a large drainage swale when you get to Ali'i Park. That wasn't addressed. I'm curious how you're going to deal with that. And the third thing is, many people in Haleiwa consider that intersection when you get back to at the end of your project. Will it make it better or even more questionable? How have you thought through how that's problematical today, and your endeavors will make it better? Those are the three questions.
Well, just your last one question. Your first question last. Okay, so in terms of the swale, we'll take a look at it. I understand. So it's adjacent to where the cars are currently parked. So through our permitting process that we need to go through, we'll need to address certain things, and that being one of them. And then also your question regarding Cam Highway, where we'll probably look at other alternatives. This is probably like a 30 to maybe 50% design concept right now. We'll kind of iron out the details and take a look at everything. In terms of the budget, as I understand it currently, money still need to be allocated. We're anticipating construction to be maybe starting in 27, with most of the permitting being done next year, 26. So that's as far as what I know right now.
They budget these things in phases, Bob. So when you kind of work out some more of the details, because we did talk about the swale on our walkthrough, and it looked like, and we had talked about you going further around that ugly backflow preventer thing, and then coming back around to avoid the swale, because we know we don't want to interfere with that. We'd like to have you come back and share that again with us. I think the more we see what you guys are doing and the more input we can provide, we'll come out with a better outcome. And we so appreciate you guys' willingness to come out here and visit with us. So yes, Carol.
Hello. Wow, awesome. I think it's long overdue. I mean, there's a lot of kids in that area, and people sadly speed on that road. I didn't see maybe you haven't designed it yet. So after the elementary school and Kayako Park, is that leg between there and Haleiwa Beach Park not yet designed? Or did I not see it?
Okay, between where, sorry?
Haleiwa Elementary and
Okay.
Ali'i Beach Park.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. So it's kind of not shown, I guess, per se, but yeah, there are some things to consider. I guess it's a little bit of narrow shoulder on that side, but we'll try to widen portions of the road where available, and at least trying to squeeze in some type of or temporary kind of sidewalk, not like a real true sidewalk, we would say.
What do you anticipate is going to be the smallest section width going along that whole project? Just curious.
Just what's it called? What we've found so far, we don't know if this is the actual minimum, but we've had to shrink the multi-use path all the way down to 8 feet. We do maintain that 2-foot buffer. And then I think the narrowest we can make those travel lanes is 10 feet wide each. So 8-foot wide shared use path, 2-foot buffer, and then 10 feet per travel lane. So that's what we found so far, but yeah.
And this is, I don't know if this is relevant or strange, but I like the green color. And and it's,
Noted.
I don't know if it's possible, but when you're paving over a park with a bike path, it's sad, but it's good. So I don't know if you can do the green color, but I think it looks really great.
Okay. Cheryl.
This is really exciting to see see it being paved over. When I was in elementary school in the 60s, I walked on that path, and it's a lot narrower now, so it's exciting. I have a question about the crosswalk in front of Haleiwa Elementary School. At several meetings ago, a resident said that that crosswalk was not placed correctly and that it should be closer to Pa'ala Road. Because if you look at the crosswalk, there's no entrance into the school. And so I think it was placed there a while ago when the parents used to congregate across the street and drop their kids off. So if you could take a look at that.
Great point, Cheryl. Thank you for remembering that. Community, any questions from the community? Yes, Barb.
Thank you for your presentation, first of all. And
My question is, with all the fatalities we have on Oahu lately, to me, crosswalks that are raised, when you're driving and you hit a raised thing, you're like, oops, oh, wow, there's a crosswalk here. And if there's a person there, you hit them already. By Paalakai, I think they've got you go over the bumps, and then there's a crosswalk, and they have those cool little signs with the red and yellow on the middle and the sides, and and there's humps before the crosswalks. To me, that makes way more sense as a driver, especially not only, we might not be distracted with cell phones, but we could be distracted like, oh, I got to pick up my kids. What am I going to make for dinner? And you just kind of don't see people in the crosswalk. And then across Ali'i Beach Park entrance, is there also going to be a crosswalk there for people coming in and out of the park and people that are walking or riding bike?
We don't have that in our design yet, but we can make note of that right at the first entrance to Ali'i Beach Park. Got it.
Thanks, Barb. Maka.
Aloha and thank you for your presentation. Excuse me back. On Waialua Beach Road and Haleiwa Road, there's one crosswalk on this side. I'm wondering if you're going to add another crosswalk on the Haleiwa Town side, because they do notice that it's a shared lane with the bikes and the whatnot. I hear the excitement. I hear the desire to build infrastructure, and infrastructure is important. But then we're also, I feel, in a funny space of this and keeping a space country, but yet making it look like Ala Moana Beach Park and having the infrastructure of Kailua Town. So yeah, that's my tug and my pull. And the raised crosswalks, we got dirt bikers in our community. That's a great ramp.
Thanks, Maka. Frank.
Mahalo, Chair. My concern is about like around Long Bridge, where there is no path really. It's just going to be, I don't know what it's going to be really. It's not really addressed here. It just shows like a 3-foot 4-inch space, and I'm hoping that'll be improved because like right over here at this bridge, where there's an awesome bike path that was built 20 years ago or whatever. But there's also gaps in and we have a problem with that, so, I know like Maka likes to keep the country, and I get that too, but if we're going to do it, I think we should do it right. And I think, I want to know exactly how that's going to be improved on that shoulder, where the sharrows are, because over that bridge, I know, you're going to have to go over the bridge the way it is now, but when you get to the other side of the bridge, and right here is where the bottleneck is before you go over the bridge. That's where it's the tightest spot. And so that leads me to one more question. Like, what is the right of way to get a full, whatever, this infrastructure we're talking about? Because right before the bridge, it's very narrow. And, when people are walking or riding their bikes or whatever, if you're driving, you have to cross the center line to, let them go by. So what is the right of way for a full, amount of space for this infrastructure, like where you have the shared use path, but also how are you going to improve the area right before and after the bridge?
Before the bridge, we would like to keep this section going. Again, it's 3 to 4 feet depending on the right of way. Like you said, it's very narrow, so we have to deal with what we have, but we can narrow the roadway, the travel lanes down to 10 feet minimum. I believe that's a standard. So like there's some wiggle room, but yes, before the bridge, we hope to keep it just like this. And if you go to the next slide, this is just right after the bridge. It'll transition straight into the shared use path. And we hope it works with the space we have.
Hey, board, any other questions? Yes, Cheryl.
I have a question about crosswalks. So are the crosswalks just showing the only crosswalks that are planned?
I don't believe so. I think, that's why we're here. If you guys have more suggestions on where crosswalks would be.
There are crosswalks, but you can't see them anymore, but they used to be there.
Oh, okay.
That's a good question, Dr. Fox.
Good point.
We know it's temporary, but it would be nice to see our crosswalks again. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Yes, Blake and then Carol.
Thanks a lot. I think this is an awesome presentation, and I think you are setting a good standard in terms of the visual representation so that people can really get a sense of what things will look like with this in place. And so I'm hoping that all of us can keep that in mind when we have these discussions about environmental assessments and environmental impact statements. I think we should be clear that our decision makers are expecting this type of representation so people can see with accuracy what someone is presenting as possible truth or what something might look like when they're proposing it. So I really thank you for that. And then, not that this is an answer, but it's something that comes to mind. I think maybe in the past, and I think even in my childhood, I went to preschool along the roadway. And for myself, I think these kinds of infrastructure, it's new, but it's trying to restore a sense of safety that all of us, I think, experienced. And so I don't know, like I said, it's not an answer, but I'd like us to talk about these kind of topics in that framework of like, how do we get back to the sense of safety and security that we had when we were younger? And how do we make sure that our children are safe when they're going in the park or going on a bike or whatever? So I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Thank you.
Thanks. Go ahead, Carol.
I just had one more comment, and that was the area by the boat harbor. So that stretch of road, in my opinion, is the most dangerous. Is the least amount of space there, and if it's possible, and I know that you got the state who owns the land, but to put that bike path on the inside of, down low on the inside of the boat harbor there would be so much safer for everybody. And touching on Blake's point, kind of the right thing to do as far as I think our community's use of the space.
So glad you brought that up. So we did meet with the stakeholders regarding that, but we were kind of mindful that, the community, and they've also expressed some concerns with, just general traffic in the area, the boats that are going in and out of the area. So it was an alternative considered. We may revisit it, but currently I think we'll just kind of keep it on the back burner for now, but try to make as much improvements we can along what we have along our, I guess, the cities right away right now. But yeah, thank you for considering it though.
So, just to kind of finish that conversation. So if you were able to do that, you could theoretically run that bike path in front of Haleiwa Joe's and have it get to, the bridge without having to get into the pilikia of that intersection over there.
I had looked at that too.
Right,
There's like
of
a little
course.
gap
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying the state. The fishermen will be very, very, very pissed.
Yeah.
The Ali'i Beach Park path inside there, I appreciate the earlier email. I had mentioned the 12 feet was a lot. So thank you for the adjustment, but are we married to 8 feet? Because when we walked, we talked about 5. Being the concern being that I see the path going through near up against the trees. I don't want to be the bike path person that says it's busting up the thing. So do we have a threat of all of that compromising that pathway at some point? And I mean, I just don't want to do something and we have to fix it again later.
Yeah, so typically when we do build, we put like root barriers and other things to kind of mitigate any root uplifting of the asphalt and things like that. But again, we'll probably revisit the design and maybe look at ways we can, kind of get around these trees and other obstacles in the park.
Anybody else? Questions? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hello, Zach. Homeland. I live in that area by Long Bridge. One suggestion I would like to ask is probably another raised crosswalk right before the bridge. One thing I've noticed, so much folks, once they turn off of Waialua Beach Park, I don't know if it's like the downhill or whatnot, or even off of the bridge, they like to just go so fast or like hitting the, so that's just one concern. And
Oh, that's a
yeah.
great suggestion.
Thank you.
Appreciate that input. Anybody else? Okay, Maka.
Going down or right before this, the previous slide, perfectly. The question from residents was if the barriers could be moved more towards the swale and allow for nose first parking at a diagonal that already happens at Nalimu, across the street from Nalimu and Nauivi. But once you get to this side by it's all parallel parking. And then you did mention, so that's just a question and suggestion. You did mention the sidewalks and the compromise. Our sidewalks are already compromised by the parking. So, model.
Great suggestion. Okay, if there are no other comments or questions, we want to, yes, Antia.
Are there going to be the curbs like in the Wailua bike path? Yes, there are. Yeah, okay, because I was concerned about having some kind of division there.
Karen? Don't get special treatment.
Hi, I'm Karen, and when I ride my bike that side, I always go through the harbor and come out by the bridge by Joe's. So I don't know. I'd like to see that if there was a way to work around the fishermen so it wasn't in the way. It's just so much safer and out of the way. But it is a harbor, so that comes first. But I would just like to say, like Maka was kind of saying, like, oh, it's all so different. It looks like Kailua and all that. But I think, the North Shore has changed so much. We have to accept that it's not 1970 anymore. It's not 1980 anymore. And we have to plan our community to deal with the new reality. And this is part of the new reality, parking, Laniakea, maybe, limiting the parking and making shuttles so the tourists don't, take all our parking spots, all that kind of stuff. It's just part of a growing community. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go back to 1980, and we have to accept that we're going to change. And it's great that the community and, these guys helping us out I think it's wonderful. Let's take control of our community and make it work in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Thank you, Karen. Oren and team, I want to thank you all so very much for coming tonight. We'll let Zaz have the last word. We'll let this lady go next, and then let Zaz have the last word since she lives in Haleiwa. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. I just wanted to add one thing. Oops, sorry. My name's Gwen, by the way. To talk about the country in progress, right? We're talking about adding concrete and pavement and tar. And I think it would be nice if we could incorporate more green environmental things. Are there trees? Are there grass? We're taking and adding tar, which adds heat. And
I've talked to them about permeable pavers because we want to protect the water resources too. Thank you. Zaz, take us home.
Aloha. I was just a suggestion, put a crosswalk kind of right where Paala Road is, just so kids can just so when kids house school, they can walk easier to the road. And then just a question, do you guys want to plan to pave over here at all? Any 2 or 3 feet on the side? Right on Paala Road?
That one.
Yeah, that one. On the Malka side? Is there any, or is the poles in the way? Is that probably why?
Can maybe look at
Maybe just a
design,
little,
yeah.
maybe just a little buffer, just for a walkway, just because a lot of foot traffic in that area.
Sorry, specifically just like this area or like kind of up until like the beach part?
There's a little wiggle.
Like in front of the school, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Sounds good.
Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. We really, really appreciate it. And I got to say, we're not bougie enough for Kailua. Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you. Great suggestions. And they're going to be here for a little bit. So if you have any other questions and stuff for them, please feel free to talk to them. Thank you, Oren. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to our city officials. We have Dr. Kealoha Fox. Thank you for waiting. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Aloha kapiko wakea, Chair, Vice Chair, board members, neighbors. I have a few updates tonight. So highlights from Mayor Belangiardi's newsletter. This month we've honored Purple Heart recipients at ceremonies across the island. The
Guys,
Honolulu-
I'm side conversations, please. Can't hear.
All right. The Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transit has broken ground on the new guideways and rail stations for the third segment of the rail project. This third segment will be from Kalihi to Kaka'ako. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Region 9 Administrator did come to Honolulu Hale to discuss housing and homelessness with all of Hawaii's mayors, including Mayor Belangiardi. They had good conversations. The new members of the Honolulu Youth Commission were sworn in a ceremony, and Oahu's junior lifeguards returned from the state championship event with their historic victory from the island of Maui. Congratulations to them, and if any of them are your ohana. We have a couple of flyers up here that are important. Jeff, thank you so much, Jeff. One of the updates is the North Shore Sustainable Communities Plan. Public comments are open until November 14th, 2025. And then there is a workshop. Many of us will be here the same place next Tuesday, September 30th at 6 o'clock. And there'll be a workshop and community meeting to make sure we go through the entire plan. So you'll see me and colleagues back from the Department of Planning and Permitting later. And then the once per decade city charter review. The Honolulu Charter Commission is conducting the review of the city charter that serves as Honolulu's constitution. So community members are also invited to submit proposals by November 7th, 2025. And so there's a flyer here, really good information, lots of workshops happening all across the island. And then board member, I did just want to follow up on your question, on your question about fees and costs. Any assessed fees and costs for copies of government records is part of Chapter 92F. That's in the Hawaii Revised Statute. And any questions should be referred to the State of Hawaii's Office of Information Practices. So that's beyond the Department of Planning and Permitting. This is for all of the government records requests.
George, let her finish her report and then we'll get to you.
Yes. I'd love to open it up for questions.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fox. Go ahead, George.
The problem isn't, you're talking about a fee for a copy, but this is a fee just to open it up and look at it and read it. And that doesn't fit the sunshine laws. It doesn't fit any kind of public access to information. To pay to open a file, not buying a hard copy from, understand that. This is a blockade to public knowledge of what's going on.
I'll make sure I check in with DPP if it's part of Chapter 92F.
Thank you, Bob.
With regard to go over the draft.
Bob, the microphone's not on. Thank you.
With regard to going over the draft, North Shore Sustainable Communities Plan, is it possible for the person that's presenting to have a copy of the old one and a copy of the new draft that highlights the differences so we can see what the changes are? Because, we worked on that original one. Actually, it was the second version.
Yep.
A whole lot of years ago.
Yeah.
People don't sit down and read that thing very often. One side to the other. It would be a really helpful and a lot more meaningful if we could see the changes that are being proposed.
Yeah, I'll make sure that I follow up and get a little bit more on the protocol with the documentation. I know the last one was 2011. That was many years ago. There's substantive changes. I did review it in the past week. There are many different additions that definitely reflect the amount of time that's been passed. And thank you folks who are part of the community that were part of the
But
2011 update.
even more than that, the way they have it organized has changed as
Yeah.
well, fairly substantially. So I think it's a great suggestion. Think it may be a little difficult, but I think it is a great suggestion. So
I'll
let's,
definitely
yeah,
ask.
let's,
Since we're ahead of it. Yeah.
yeah, they've made substantive changes to how they organized it, is what I'm saying. So it could be interesting. Blake?
Thank you very much. I just wanted to echo the board members' concern about fees for documents. I could understand in the past when there was a lot of paper copies and people had to go and retrieve things, and even, more recently in the last decade, someone having to by hand scan individual pages. But my understanding, and I hope I'm not too far off, is that with modern technology, it's becoming a lot easier to have digitization of most things, and people probably are submitting their submittals digitally as well. And so I'm hoping that over time, the city will explore just more digital free access for the public. And I'm sure that's part of the mayor's overall digitization strategy. But I think it's important for the communities that are working hard to have access to information. And I know you guys probably experience that in your own office daily work. So I hope we can just not let that go and continue to push on it, even if we can't change it overnight. Thank you.
Thank you, Member McElhaney. Mayor Blangiardi is absolutely committed to new technology and modernizing the city. We have a brand new Chief Information Officer. He's excellent. He's leading our Department of Information Technology, and these are exactly the types of fixes and recommendations that we want to hear.
I find it odd that DPP is charging for access, so sounds wrong to me. I agree with Blake. That kind of information should be easily accessed, especially things like permits and stuff like that. So thank you. Board, any other questions for Dr. Fox? Community, any questions for Dr. Fox? I know a bunch of stuff has come up over the course of tonight. Appreciate it. And you will be with us next Tuesday?
I will be here.
All right. Looking forward to it. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. And again, we're going to welcome up our fabulous council member, Matt Wire. Look how energetic he is. Make me feel old.
No, not at all. Aloha again, Chair, board members, members of the community. We did distribute our newsletter, I believe. It's coming. Okay. Just want to remind folks that there's a QR code on the bottom, and you can also visit our council website to sign up for our email updates, because we'll always send out more up-to-date information as things progress. Of course, we're grateful for our community policing team and community members. I know Vice Chair was out there with Wailua Elementary School. I know Haleiwa Elementary was out this morning sign waving for traffic safety. As we all know, traffic deaths have been going up, pedestrian deaths. And so we want to ensure that folks are mindful, driving the speed limit and also not distracted, so not on cell phones. And then try not to repeat anything we've talked about. I know we've discussed the emergency response resolution we did about monitoring. That did pass, and we're going to be meeting with Department of Emergency Management to go over all the different types of monitoring we want to roll out into the community for flood monitoring, our streams, our infrastructure, traffic monitoring, so that we're better prepared in disasters. I'll just note the specific tsunami response meeting is going to be on Thursday at 1 p.m. in the Public Safety Committee. Let me just double check that on my phone. So that's for going over all the takeaways from the Department of Emergency Management. Of course, if you can't make it down to Honolulu Hale in person, you can tune in on Olelo or YouTube. So that's at 1 p.m. And of course, you can submit testimony on that if there's things you want the city to know or take away in terms of how to better prepare our community. I know we talked about Bill 56. Of course, want to remind everyone about the September 30 deadline to submit all your dedications or exemptions to the city for real property tax. I know I've said it at multiple meetings, but I'll just repeat it because I know it's a new audience. Particularly relevant for folks if you know or have any friends or family that had a recent passing in the family. Just want to make sure that they know that their homeowner occupant exemption needs to be filed under whoever's owning the home right now. Because every year we run into folks that maybe they had a passing and then they didn't know that they weren't on the form that was filled out and submitted. So just make sure folks have that exemption in place. We also found out today at the committee meeting that regarding the modification application, there was an official withdrawal by the applicant for the gondola project. We're still waiting on the final letter for the modification. Yeah. So there's some applause. There's some big picture. I think that's a great step because the modification would have been making it easier for them to go forward with the project. I think Vice Chair is very kind to call it fluff. DPP today in the hearing noted that the purpose of the gondola was allegedly for the workers. That was the primary purpose. And then, of course, now when we're talking about a cafe and a reduction to conservation, I think it just highlights the frustration from the community and the need to engage better and have that notice early on so that we can have a thorough conversation that I think benefits both the community, but also keeps landowners from getting into trouble down the line too, right? Because we all want to help everyone comply. In addition to the September 30th meeting on the Sustainable Communities Plan, I'll note that we'll also have that at our hearing 9 a.m. on Thursday. So if you want to tune in, and then we're happy to take feedback about ways to improve the presentation at the meeting. I can't speak for DPP, so won't say they'll incorporate it, but trust Chair's assessment about the challenges of how to break it down. But just flagging, we'll be talking through the plan with the department Thursday morning at 9 a.m. for anyone that wants to tune in for that. And of course, echo the congratulations from Dr. Fox for our junior lifeguards. We did have them at council to recognize that accomplishment and are so grateful for all the work of our Ocean Safety Department, the volunteers and lifeguards that supported our youth, and of course all of our first responders that are getting out into the community. For other updates, parking signage in front of the Wailua Courthouse, we're pending a response from the department on that. I think Boyd left, but the Pupuke guardrail installation, the contract was awarded, and then the pre-construction phase should start the last quarter of this calendar year. And then the planning and design phase is ongoing for the Canoe Halau as well. I also wanted to flag, just to give everyone a heads up, so Resolution 25-261 relates to an extension of the Hanapaku project. That was recently introduced. That was request through application that came into DPP. They did an assessment, and the recommendation for sending it over to Chair was based on the ongoing conversations regarding the acquisition. So just flagging that, it hasn't been agendized yet, but could possibly be agendized. But
Except
just
for backyards.
that one is for Sharks Cove.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'll wrap up with backyards after this, and I'm hopefully still within my 3 minutes. Yeah. So just flagging that, but I did talk to the administration, and things seem to be going well in terms of the conversation. They anticipate having a final appraisal in, they said about 3 weeks, so I'd say no later than the end of next October as we're coming up on it. And they already have a draft letter of intent ready. So I think once the numbers finalize, that'll be coming over. And so, of course, we'll continue to update you on the acquisition process. And of course, Dr. Fox may get updates before me, but we'll, continue to have the conversation with the administration as well. And then finally, yes, regarding the Haleiwa Backyards project, maybe can we get another round of applause for the community and the neighborhood board? Over 853 testimonies, yeah. So I don't know if I can ask for applause. I'm not on the board, but I think that's a testament to the power of the community. In addition to all the resos that Chair was mentioning, that all the neighborhood boards have passed regarding Mount Ka'ala, that's a direct result of the work of this board. And many members, I know Chair, Vice Chair, probably others that have been out at these neighborhood boards explaining just what's going on. So the boards make that decision. And so grateful for that. Regarding backyard, so the bill is in zoning committee, it was recommitted. And so for it to get to a passage, it'd have to get out of committee and then be agendized for a final reading. So we are in a good place right now. And so in terms of the conversation, I know zoning chair has been engaging with the community, with stakeholders. She did ask the administration to look into assessing the property for city acquisition for housing. And we also had a meeting after that with managing director just to relay, some of the concerns we talked through in committee. We talked about resolution 2350 that we had passed a couple years ago regarding a police substation on North Shore, which the department had noted at the time that was in line with their long-term planning. And so the evaluation is going to be broad. Of course, whatever the city comes back with isn't a final we're going to do it. It's just putting forward things that the city administration thinks they could contemplate buying this property for. And of course, that would be dependent on what the community wants to see and then what the landowner is willing to do as well. And of course, that doesn't stop outside conversations. I've been engaging some stakeholders in the ag space. And of course, we're always looking for folks that, may want to utilize that property for a better means. But in addition to the housing, MD Managing Director did agree they'll look also at other types of city services. Like I mentioned, the police substation, possibly course services, and maybe adjusting the lot for other uses that the community finds appropriate. So that's the update we have now. That'll be a few months. And of course, we'll continue to monitor zoning committee just to see if it does pop up for any reason, if chair decides to agendize it for either discussion or trying to do a vote on it. Of course, we'll send that out in our email updates as well. And so if it happens, before the next board or you don't make the next board, you can always check out our email for that. Okay, I think that covers everything. I know
Right.
it's getting late, so I tried to go
No, no,
fast, but
Got plenty of time, got
Okay.
15 whole minutes. But thank you for that. And I would encourage the community, if you have any ideas for that property, please call council members' office or shoot them an email. It's MWeyer, WEYER @honolulu.gov. And, because we want them to really hear what we want in there, not what gets imposed on us from the outside. So, and I have to give a big shout out to Councilmember Kia Aina. She saw the passion, thank you, Zaz, and Raquel, at that last full council hearing. And she helped turn the tide and really got it recommitted back into committee. And that is almost completely unheard of at third reading. Third reading is usually a rubber stamp. It's just like, okay, boom, yes, move forward. And we stopped it over the course of that whole thing. We've had well over what Denise, probably close to over 2,000 testimony over the course of that. Oh, yeah. But almost 1,000 just in that last one alone. And that's impressive. They were like, whoa. And I want to, Denise, Raquel, Zaz, they went to every meeting. So thank you. Thank you so much. Think of some of our others. I think Debbie showed up, Charlene. So anyone who could showed up. So that shows the commitment of this board to this community. So thank you, Council Member. Community, any questions for Council Member Wire? Any board members? Yes, Sass.
I just want to add on to Bill 37. We got some fun little stickers, stop backyards. And there's a little QR code that you can scan to with your phone and it'll tell you more information about it. And then there's also another sticker up there. I don't have it up here, but they're right next to each other. You're welcome. Yep, that one. You're welcome to grab it. Help yourself, guys.
Thank you, Sass. Blake.
Thank you so much for everything you and your staff are doing for the community. I can't even recall, time goes by so fast. I can't recall if you were already in office when the bill restricting commercial activity in our public parks passed, but I'm sure you've been helpful in making sure it's followed and implemented. But I just wanted to put that out there as a reminder when the earlier conversations were coming up about tour buses. This community took the lead from Windward, Oahu, and push that forward. And so that's something we can continue to explore when people talk about the balance of who's utilizing our public resources. And that just triggered in my mind, in roughly 2012, former Parks Director Gary Cabato had suggested a comprehensive environmental review of the effects, I think at that time, of commercial utilization in our city parks. But given Vitor, Lieutenant, is he a captain or Lieutenant Captain Vitor's presentation, it also reminded me about, we have data also from the state of Hawaii DBED data book just showing the vast increase in the number of visitors to our beach parks. And so I think one of the things that was talked about earlier is the sense that things have radically changed. And so I'm hoping over time we can develop a system for some type of comprehensive environmental review, at least as a baseline, so that retrospectively and then forward looking, we can have a better understanding of, like, if state airports is thinking of adding new terminals or whatnot, and we know that half of those visitors are going to come out here, maybe we have a mechanism for understanding like what that means for our wastewater and just other infrastructure at our city park. So just a footnote for later. I think it trying to connect a few dots that have been brought up over the last couple of decades. Thank you.
Thanks, Blake. Appreciate that. Just a couple of things. I know when we were in the meeting today, I think we were all a little surprised when Elizabeth Krager said, oh yeah, we did get the withdrawal letter. And I know you had specifically asked DPP to make sure you got a copy of it. So I was exceedingly disappointed that they hadn't kept you in the loop. So, you know, I hope you're very sweet and kind and nice, but I hope you chastise them for not doing that. That was wrong.
I appreciate. No, I mean, to their credit, I got a text some time ago saying they did, and then found out that they didn't actually submit the letter yet, and so
Okay.
and so now we got confirmation today, so I will chastise them.
Okay, and then can you
Appreciate
just
that.
double? So, and I know you're so sweet about it that it'll be very pleasant, but they won't know what hit them. The other thing too, can you just make sure that they're not submitting other things as well, and just make it really, really clear to them that anything that they get from him, you need to have, and they need to be sending it to the community. Given the fact that we now have 6 or 7 resolutions from different parts of the island, not just in the one area, it shows I have not talked to one person that likes this project. So I think DPP needs to be a little bit more attentive to sharing information, and we shouldn't have to constantly be asking them for it. So if you could also let them know the neighborhood board as a whole would like to be kept informed on anything and receive letters as well.
Okay, I'll certainly relay that.
Okay, I
Come on.
thank you. I appreciate that. And then I know when you get it, you'll send it to us. I'm not worried about that.
I checked my email on the phone just now to make sure I didn't have it yet. Of course.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Denise, Bob, and I think Raquel?
I just have a quick comment about backyards, just so everybody can share this with their friends and neighbors. So indeed, the community opposition and also the tsunami disaster really made the big difference. Overwhelming opposition. It's on hold. It's not dead. Okay, so no sleep, nobody sleep. It's on hold, and it's an incredible opportunity for our community to talk about what we envision there. And I just want to emphasize that it's not like we can stop working on this collaboratively. And as Chair Pahinui mentioned, Zoning Chair Kia Aina is actively engaging those conversations. Thank you, Matt Wire, for engaging. We have to be having these conversations. Ask your friends and neighbors who wants to buy the property. It was bought for 1.9 million by the current owner in 2018. So, you know, the property owner knows these discussions are going on. So we can't just sit around and think somebody else is going to solve it. As we've done in many other situations in the past, let's come up with a positive alternative with someone who would like to really kukua that land and be part of the community. So that's the message I want you to share with people. And we have leaders working on it, but we need everybody's help. Thanks.
Okay, and then one last from Bob, because I do want to get Yvonne up. She's been waiting patiently. So go ahead, Bob.
With regard to the Hanapohaku project, do you have any information about the mayor's interface in that regard at this point in time?
Nothing additional. Just that they've been having the positive conversations. They were waiting on a final appraisal that's already been ordered. It's a few weeks in, and so that appraisal should be coming to the city within the next 3 weeks, they anticipated. Again, this is just what's been relayed to me. And so, yeah, at that point, my understanding is that admin feels confident they can at least have finalize the discussions about agreed upon price. And at least from what's been shared, as I mentioned, the LOI has been drafted, but they're open to working towards finalizing the purchase sale agreement sooner if the appraisal comes back and everything's ready to go. And so I know that things are in discussion, and so I wouldn't want to speak for anyone else, but that's what's been relayed on the city side, and so I'm definitely hopeful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for coming tonight. We really do appreciate it.
Mahalo.
Okay. We have a few more minutes. So while Yvonne's coming up, I just wanted to also mention, in case nobody knew, Vice Chair Achu sits on the Ocean Safety Commission. So she was appointed to that by the mayor. So congratulations.
Yes.
And she apparently really impressed Councilmember Kia Ina because then she appointed her to the Ag Task Force. So she's got her plate full right now. But thank you for doing all of that on behalf of your community. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Aloha board, aloha community, mahalo for giving me this time. Really briefly, and I just thank you folks for bearing with me. Rep. Peruso wants to extend her mahalo to chair and vice chair for all your folks' work with the community evacuation, emergency evacuation plan. They helped to spearhead this huge meeting that we had on Zoom last week where we involved the Army, HDOT, the City and County Department of Emergency Management, a lot of folks. So after sharing their notes, we're really happy to see more of a coordinated effort, not just with our office, but with Councilmember Wire's office, Senator Awa, Representative Quinlan as well. So we're really excited for more of a robust effort around this evacuation plan, especially with all of the natural disasters that we're expect to see in the coming years. And just waiting on their after action analysis from HDOT. So if our office gets that information, we'll definitely share it with everyone. And then kind of going back to Frank's comment and suggestion earlier about legislation about EIS and or EISs and environmental assessments. So Rep. Peruso is planning to introduce a bill that has and places a time validity or time limit on EISs. I think we shared it with a few of the board members, hoping to get some feedback on that before we can kind of finalize it. But we have some time before session. So session starts in January. So if you folks have any other ideas or ways to improve that, we're glad to, just have that
Waiting on
conversation.
our environmental expert over here to weigh in.
No, yeah, and I mean that, and as well as like kind of jumping on board with all of the work going behind preventing development on the Mauna. We're also planning to introduce another bill that amends the triggers for an EIS or an EA. So adding that component of like a cultural significance or area of cultural significance is what we're looking for. And with your folks' feedback, we'd love to just kind of develop that bill as well.
Wonderful, thank you. We really appreciate that. Anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. And actually it was Rep. Peruso who spearheaded that meeting. We just got invited and we were a part of it. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And I also want to give a shout out to the chamber. Dr. Randall Collins was their guest speaker last week, and he did provide a PowerPoint that I will share with the rest of the board. So thank you, Carol, for sending that out. And then we'll make sure it's up in our Google Drive so people can do it. And we're trying to just all come together and all be on the same page and moving in the same direction. And so thank you to everybody's efforts on that. Any questions for Rep. Peruso? Okay, so yes, Maka, please. Oh, taking advantage.
Aloha kako, board, vice chair, vice chair. Mahalo, not directly for Rep. Peruso, but mahalo for your presence and being here tonight in Rep. Peruso's stead. Mahalo to our council member that did dash out, but the presence is important. As a community member, I appreciate their presence and their feedback and their sharing of what they're doing at the Square Building. Recently, our senator went on a hunt. I don't know what that hunt produced. I look forward to hearing from our senator for our community of what that was about. Rep. Quinlan, also very busy in his space that he held last year as the chair of the tourism committee, and the poignant topics and points made about tourism. I encourage our board members and our community to attend tomorrow's meeting hosted by the Hawaii Tourism Authority up at Lelehua High School. Your feedback, our constant feedback, a reminding and repetition of what's important to us as a community needs to be heard.
So can you give us details on that meeting?
Hawaii Tourism Authority is hosting a Oahu. I would like to call somebody up to share more information, but I don't want to. Anyways, if you feel so
Somebody.
awesome,
you know.
mahalo.
You are, sir?
Aloha kako, Blaine Andrade, Haleiwa resident. And I'm also here on behalf of the Hawaii Tourism Authority. I am the destination manager for Oahu. Recently just starting in February, so I'm relatively new to the space. My background is in hospitality. Born and raised in Kona, but again, we reside here now in Haleiwa. So long story short, what we try to do is balance community, industry, and government. And I'm, in a sense, the liaison to all of those three. And I represent Oahu. So tomorrow we have our, what they're called Destination Management Action Plans. This is the second iteration of them. Again, it's the purpose being trying to balance community need, tourism, and industry governance, and those sort of things. So yeah, so tomorrow is our community meeting. It's going to be held at Lelihua High School. Sorry for such a late notice, but we have posted on our HCA website, et cetera, et cetera. But it's from 6 to 8 p.m. We'd love to hear your comments, suggestions, thoughts about how we can proactively manage tourism for the state of Hawaii, and especially here on the North Shore, where we get, in essence, of 10,000 visitors a day. So probably more. Yes, thank you. So I look forward to just meeting all of you and reaching out and listening and providing just a space for us to move forward with these ideas and these projects and these, things that have proven, like Haena, have proven to do well in smaller Hawaiian communities amongst the residents and the people who live there. So again, and we'll try to get a North Shore specific meeting.
We would love that. Thank you.
And I heard that. Thanks, Matt. I heard that before, and we're gonna try and get one here on the North Shore, and I look forward to kind of.
So Blaine, this is my card. Please email me your contact information. And we would love to work with you to put a specific meeting together on this, because as you heard tonight, this is a big deal for us. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but would you mind just hanging around for a little bit? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you everybody for coming.
Wow, that's live.